How far would you go to achieve your dream? What parts of yourself would you be willing to let go of, to sacrifice? What morals would you compromise? All in the name of making it big. This is a game that proposes these questions, and then proceeds to show us the horrifying results. So, let's talk about one of the most criminally underrated releases of the year, Dead Take. Dead Take endeavours to show the absolute extremities of the film industry through the eyes of Chase Lowry, a struggling actor considered to be past his prime. Chase arrives uninvited at the mansion of the elusive director Duke Kane, with the intent of finding and saving his friend and fellow actor Vinnie Monroe, who had recently been cast in the starring role of Duke Kane's latest film, The Last Voyage. As he enters this sprawling LA mansion, he finds it seemingly empty, almost abandoned, while also showing the telltale signs of a massive party having recently occurred. From here, Chase must explore the mansion to discover the truth about what really happened here. As he progresses in this goal, he soon finds himself descending into not only the dark underbelly of this secretive, sprawling house, but also that of the Hollywood machine, where a person can either be raised up and reborn into a star, or doomed to fade into obscurity. It doesn't take long for us to realize that something has gone deeply wrong in this house, and to save Vinnie, we must push forward, solve its riddles, and also explore the stories of the cast of The Last Voyage to find the truth, at least what we believe to be the truth. More on that later. The house we find ourselves in was constructed with an aura of secrecy so concerning that the original architect, in what could be considered a way of easing a guilty conscience, felt the need to voice their displeasure with the subsequent cover-up of its many hidden doors and passageways, not just from the human eye, but from the building's blueprints themselves. The house is, on the surface, a vanity project by Duke Kane, a director who embodies the terrifying powers of old Hollywood. He's a director who, to achieve his ever-elusive vision of perfection, will not hesitate to apply maximum pressure and stress to his stars, even if it means they break under that intense pressure. There's always other willing actors that, like Kane himself says to his stars,
"People would kill for this."
Along our journey in the mansion, we will find side objectives taking the form of stories that, while not central to the plot, paint a grim picture of The Last Voyage's development nightmare, as well as the macabre, toxic, and, at points, outright criminal elements that accompanies every step of Duke Kane's creative process, from spying, to blackmailing, to sabotaging. And what was stated there is everything the story confirms. Everything else is alluded to or heavily implied through incredible environmental storytelling that paints perhaps the darkest picture, one of perversion, assault, satanic ritualism, and murder. Duke Kane and his network of subordinates deployed to enact his goals embody everything wrong with the industry. Chase soon finds himself haunted, watched in the darkness, his stalkers taking the form of mannequins, and nailed to their faces are actors' headshots, now warped into demonic and unsettling faces. The mannequins serve as the game's primary way of haunting the player, moving by themselves, appearing and vanishing in a split second. But they also serve as a wider metaphor for how Duke Kane sees his actors. They are nothing more than lifeless dolls for him to pose, use, and then throw away as he pleases. Eventually, we piece together the truth by combining various video files to create new hidden clips. With this, we begin to slowly realize that Chase Lowry, the hero of our story, is perhaps not the most reliable narrator. Along with all the dark and terrible secrets the mansion has to offer, there is one that Chase himself has been neglecting, almost like he's been blocking it out. Chase has been lying to himself. He was never going to the mansion to save Vinnie. So, let's talk about Chase. As we said before, Chase Lowry is a struggling actor, down on his luck and failing to land his big break. His talent agent is ignoring him, his headshots depict a much younger version of him, and his audition tapes, where he displays near obsessive admiration for Duke Kane's work, all come together to give off a vibe of clear desperation that could give way to something far more dangerous at any moment. Chase Lowry's time is running out, and he knows it. Vinny and Chase had both auditioned for the lead role in The Last Voyage, and almost inevitably, Chase lost out to Vinny in what appears to be a no contest to the casting directors. It appears the final straw came with a message from Vinny, who told Chase rather emphatically that Duke Kane simply did not want to work with him. For Chase, this was the final straw, the moment that doomed him to that space that all actors fear: obscurity. Unless he took his fate into his own hands and showed Duke Kane just how dedicated he can really be to a role, and as we see, this is taken to the absolute extreme. By the end of the game, Chase is no longer alone. He's now surrounded by mannequins, all posed to be joyful and dancing, as well as some other slightly alarming poses if you look close enough. He makes his way through the crowd until finally he meets the elusive Duke Kane in his office. Here, he gives Chase a gun as he tells him to take his shot. He finds what appears to be Vinny, or rather a mannequin with Vinny's face, posed in a way that gives off that he's begging for his life, and Chase takes his shot. The game ends with Chase looking focused, a grim look on his face, a far cry from the happy, smiley personality he gave off in his audition tapes. His mask is now fully off. He is in a screen test, one that Vinny was originally in, with Duke Kane off camera stating, "People would kill to be in your position." There's a slight twitch in Chase's eye when Duke says this. People have killed to be in this position. Chase killed Vinny. Now the real question of Dead Take is this: how much of it is real? To that point, the answer is we simply do not know. Could it be that the party is currently ongoing, but we are seeing it from Chase's perspective of being completely alone and isolated in this town? Or is everything we are seeing Chase making up a narrative in an attempt to justify his actions? We simply don't know, and Dead Take, taking a page from horror greats that came before, doesn't bog itself down in the details. Not so much that you have no idea what's going on, but in a way when multiple narratives can exist at once, and it's up to you as the player to decide which one is real. The story you take from it is the one you want. Dead Take has so much more story if you are inquisitive enough to go and look for it. It shows us Hollywood at its absolute worst, showing the harsh realities of an industry plagued by toxicity, one that allows men with rampant egos to be falsely lauded as pragmatic visionaries with limitless power, as well as the suffocating grip they can have on those who work for them. Dead Take is a game I could talk about for hours. Its design is fantastic, its puzzles intriguing, and its narrative is so well constructed that it has you as the player begging for more. And while it ends on a rather ambiguous note, allowing the player to draw their own conclusions as to what really happened in that mansion, you can be certain of this: the obsessive pursuit of fame and stardom can be fatal. If you're a fan of horror, Dead Take is not one to miss. So far, it is one of my favourite horror games of the year, up there with Chronos: The New Dawn and Silent Hill F. And the fact that this small indie title can stand with AAA giants such as those two is simply a testament to how good it really is.